I hope you're not thinking what I was thinking before I researched this Bayer Leverkusen team. They are something serious. This is going to be a full analytic look at this side, how they play under their new boss, Xabi Alonso, exactly what they're up to in recent history. Let's break it all down. I'm Wayne Gerard. Let's do it. It's been quite the week for me, not going to lie. So, Saturday, I saw on the Roma Club New York WhatsApp group that there was Matt Damon, supposedly, at Roma Club. And I got replied to someone, and I'm like, what do you mean? This is not Matt Damon. You serious? And then I got a reply from my other buddy who didn't send the picture. He said, yes, this is serious. So I go to my wife, and I'm like, babe, look, it's Matt Damon. She's like, you got to go. I'm like, okay, immediately. So I leave my house. I race down to downtown Manhattan, like reasonably as fast as I could. Of course, there's always tons of traffic, especially in the Holland Tunnel. I get there, throw the car in the parking garage. I never do that because we're always too cheap. I always look for parking. That's why I get parking tickets. And I run up to Keste where the club meets, and who's there but Matt Damon. And everyone comes out in the street, and we're all celebrating with him. I get a picture with him. I post on social media. The following day, it's on Corriere dello Sport, ForzaRoma.info, Men in Blazers, all around the internet. And I'm like, whoa, yo, this is crazy. I got calls from people back in Rome telling me how much that people, it's all that they've been talking about. I'm like, this is absolutely bananas. But also, on another note, yo, I've been so hungry. Like, I know this is not football related right now. We're going to break down Leverkusen in a minute, but like, I haven't been eating carbs as much. And I know that like some people diet, more protein, whatever it is. But like without my pasta and like a ton of rice, I've been so hungry. But I just made some nice salmon tonight and pork chops the night before. I've been cooking a lot on the grill. It's finally nice weather here. You know what? In the Northeast, like where I live, when it's nice weather, you gotta go outside because for so much 8-7 months out of the year, it's some terrible weather. But on to, I guess, more footballing news here. So, Leverkusen, man, this side is no slouch. Xabi Alonso comes in, I think, 9th game into the season. They were something like 17th place, completely turns the season around. He takes his first managerial role, and I think he's doing wonderful things with it. They are so fast on the counter or in possession at regaining the ball. This team has a little bit of everything. I'm going to name a few players here. Florian Wirtz. So much flows through this 20-year-old attacker. It would make sense for me just how things go in Germany that he's bought by Bayern Munich this summer for something like 50 or 60 million euros. 20-year-old has, 1 goal but 6 assists so far. He plays a little bit more withdrawn, and when he's on the pitch, they get, I think, they go from 9 shots on goal per match all the way up to 14 on average when this kid is on the pitch. So Jeremy Frimpong, another problem here. Dutch attacker, 22 years old. This guy is he's serious. He's super fast. 8 goals, 6 assists. Got a little bit of everything there in his repertoire. And the other guy I want to highlight here, Moussa Diaby. These two players, Frimpong and Diaby, are extremely fast. They're 2 of the 5 fastest players in the Bundesliga. So we're coming up Roma's coming up against a side that is unpredictable, in my opinion. Xabi Alonso, we don't know we're going to see exactly how he's going to play, but he is someone who, from Rafa Benitez to Pep Guardiola to Ancelotti to Jose Mourinho, he's played under the best managers that the game has seen in recent history. And we could even say, like, in contemporary times, these are the best managers that there have ever been. And he has taken, it seems like, a little bit out of from each manager, each of their philosophies, the way that they play. And on top of that, he's got the brain. If you remember the way that Xabi played, super smart, a wizard with the ball. Saw the entire pitch like an owl at night hunting his prey. Could just survey and scan in the blink of a second. And it's almost like, as I'm thinking about this and working through it, you know how, like, of course, Italy has Pirlo, deep-lying playmaker, goes down in history, right? Xabi Alonso was almost overshadowed by the other cast of characters because Spain was so impressive during their World Cup and Euro run, winning back-to-back in that tournament. So to me, like, if Xabi Alonso was on another team, I feel like he would go down regarded more colloquially as like this great player in history. But instead, I don't know if he's seen as given such notoriety. But nevertheless, he is and was a phenomenal player who is now bringing everything that he's learned and putting it into this team for his first time as a manager. It's very exciting. By the way, there's another guy you're familiar with. That's Patrick Schick, who's probably going to miss out on this match. But I found, or actually, my closest friend sent me this brilliant thread, tactical analysis by M. Sorin1. I'm going to post this for us as well. And I'm going to read some key facts, key analytics here from this thread. So it's going to take a few minutes. Just bear with me. I'm going to post pictures, which is why I'm sitting so far this way, because I want to make sure I have enough space for everybody today to look at these pictures so it makes a little bit more sense. So with Roma, I do expect Leverkusen to actually try to build out from the back. I think that the way that Mourinho is going to set them up, they're going to sit back a little bit deeper than you might want them to, that fans want them to, because fans, of course, always want to go out and play, proper champagne football. You're not going to get that with Jose. He's going to play the way that he always has throughout his career. He's going to have his wingers like Samuel Eto'o from Inter, a pure goal scorer, sitting back almost as a left wing back. And I do think that once Xabi reads that, he's going to allow them a little bit more creative fluidity and to allow his team to be themselves. So they like to exploit the opposition by quickly transitioning into attack or recycling to their defensive line once they step up. Once that ball goes into the half of the opposition, they're going to try and keep it there, even if that means going back to their center backs. I'm imagining like not ping pong, a pinball machine where you got those little bumpers on the bottom and they keep putting the ball in. That's how I think this team is going to want to play. From this position, Alonso's side also goes from a 3-4-3 into a 4-2-4 as they look to slow the tempo down, play a little bit more possession-based, as well as vertical balls, some slick combination play, as this thread reads here also, and then get the ball in behind. So, along with keeping possession, the idea is to get it like as high as you can and as quick as you can. Once you lose it back, okay, then you recollect. But then, as soon as you do, go again and keep on sending like waves and waves of attacks. So I think this is going to be a unique looking side for sure. Center midfielders. The two center midfielders are the heartbeat of this team. They might not get a lot of touches on the ball, but their main job is really facilitating progression and movements and keeping the game going as far as the attacking phase goes. We see them acting almost as trampolines in the build-up, the writer writes, receiving the ball to draw on opposition pressure, opening up a vertical passing lane, and immediately knocking it back to the defensive line, who can exploit the passing lanes opened up by the other midfielders. They're also extremely adept at using subtle position changes to move outside the lines of opposition pressure and get on the ball, allowing either the ball side wingback to push forward or one of the wingers to drop between the lines as a +1 to receive in space. What you're going to see, especially out of Wirtz here, is when he is not on the wing, he's going to move in a little bit more central as the wingbacks push up. And if you think like as an attacking mid, you're not the type of player who's going to go in with like a crashing diving header, right? You're going to look to get off the shoulder of the center back and in between the defensive midfielder, open yourself for some space, get open, try to get a shot or link up play. That's the idea here. With the wingbacks moving high and wide, with a central midfielder dropping into the fullback zone, this also gives Leverkusen a more suitable player to build up under pressure while maintaining their structure. So you've seen this with Atalanta before too, where the center mids under Gasperini, sometimes they will drop, and that because it's kind of like that hairpin. Like once you have one go up, once the wingback goes up, there has to be some cover, and yet they're not going to replace that player like for like on the position, but they're going to take a different type of shape where, like I mentioned, this pinball type effect is the impression that I'm really getting here. This does leave the wingbacks holding width, something I don't usually like because they typically can't beat their man out wide with any sort of reliability, the writer says. But Jeremy Frimpong is a unique profile and can do so, making him a brilliant asset when holding width. Frimpong, once again, super fast, can cover a position or two. This enables the entire Leverkusen system to tick and gets the best out of Moussa Diaby and Florian Wirtz. We often see them as the left and right wingers for Leverkusen, with Wirtz occasionally being deployed as a false nine because of injuries to their strikers, i.e. Patrick Schick, who is continuously hurt. They both position themselves quite narrow, allowing room for the wingbacks to hold width or to attract the opposition fullback, narrowly creating space for late runs into wide areas where the wingbacks can cut it back, something we see them score countless goals from. So that also reminds me of the recent win a month ago against Bayern Munich. It was 2 penalty kicks, but Leverkusen were also down a goal, and they fought back to go and get that victory. So they've got a lot of heart. It's not just a good side tactically, one that's well managed, but they also have a good spirit about them. And we know something about that in Rome. Alonso gives them both massive freedom to drop deep and get touches or fluidly interchange positions. Wirtz basically plays a free role, drifting wherever he sees fit from an inside left position, often dropping to form a midfield 3 so the team has adequate options. If one of Diaby or Wirtz drops, the other looks to hang on the shoulder of the defensive line, so Leverkusen still have someone pinning the opposition defenders. However, if both wingbacks are forward, which they usually are, it gives both Wirtz and Diaby license to drop between the lines, and I think like this writer put before, gives them a little bit more freedom too, and that's where the unpredictability comes in. That's where I want to see, and I hope, and I really am planning for the fact that Matic and Cristante can cope with that, as well as the center backs. So Roma are going to drop into their 5. You add Matic, Cristante, it's almost like a back 7, how deep that they start to play. And I hope that the thing is that they can cover well enough to stop this type of stuff, and that they can really funnel Leverkusen in and then hit centrally. It's going to have to be a big game from Tammy. Dybala will not get the start. Hopefully him and Wijnaldum, who are back training with the group, get like 30, 35, maybe 40 minutes. But I think that I'm going to go on before I finish my thought here. The 3-2-2-3 is an incredibly hard shape to press, he says. If you go man-to-man on the central midfielders, you're leaving the wingers free or in a 2v1 between the lines. If you step up off the pivot, you give them time and space to progress, playing using the box midfield's numerical advantage. So the only solution, they write, is to go man-to-man and try to keep the between the line options in your cover shadow, an extremely hard thing to do considering the amount of scanning required, as well as the constant movement and fluidity of the attackers. I'm thinking like Jose, or I'm trying to think like Jose right now. What he is going to have them do is definitely stifle all that movement and all that forward motion. And this person writes, the only solution is to go man-to-man. Not true. Not true at all. Because you can play zone until the cows come home. And once you do that, once you recover the ball, you're going to totally outstretch these dudes if you get that ball up quickly. If you hit a deadly counter, then this Leverkusen could get a little bit unscrewed. They could start to really lose their shape and lose the game here. That's just what I'm hoping happens. The age of this team is around 25 years old. I'm eyeballing this, and I see almost every single midfield player is like below the age of 27. So compared to Roma, who's a little bit older, I know that, a few of these players are in the top 5 of the Bundesliga for speed, but overall they're going to be young, youthful, energetic, but I think that they can be crushed by the quality of Rome if they can fight off the exhaustion, if they can get past the mental fatigue. But I do trust in the leaders. I do trust if Matic is out there and Cristante, who is crazy but has become a true leader in this team, that they can really make this excellent to-be coach, who I think could be one of the next great coaches, could really ruin his day in Rome. I'm glad that this one actually, typically you want the second leg to be in Rome. I'm glad that the first one is. I want Roma to go out and set the tempo and show that they're in control, and that they can have, Leverkusen can have all these ideas and all these schematics and 3-2-2-3, overload this, move into free space that. Put that to bed with some good zonal marking and a quick, lethal, deadly counter. That is Jose 101. That's what Roma needs to do. Give me a like, put a comment there. Let me know what you think. Also, if you like these tactical analyses, let me know that too. If you want me to keep doing them, I like doing them. I love X's and O's. So we'll talk soon. Forza Roma. Ciao. In bocca al lupo. Forza Roma sempre. Everything. A little bit of everything there. Bye, guys.